So when you talk about medication versus exercise and treatment of depression, obviously you'd want probably the exercise because it really doesn't have any negative side effects. But that can't always obviously be the case. There are instances where medication is obviously necessary. If exercise could be bottled, do you think it'd be prescribed very often?
Well, as I told you, in this country, we don't really have that easily available. But in England, they've developed these, what they call fitness schemes, which is basically you refer someone to a qualified trainer, and they set up an exercise program, and that's prescribed by your doctor. Here, I've had some luck in referring folks to physical therapists who can develop an exercise program for folks that have fairly severe depression, and they've been universally pleased with the results.
So maybe we need to adopt something like that here.
Well, I think that our insurance system is different than England because England has a national health plan and we don't. And I think that, you know, I'm not an insurance person, but I think the insurance plans that are fairly enlightened would see this as a benefit. Now, insurance you buy year to year, and so the benefit of an exercise plan is over tens of years.
And so finally, I know you work out, you work out, you make it a priority in your life, you schedule it out during most days of the week. To what extent do you think, and I'm asking all docs this, not just you, to what extent can we as health professionals have our messages be more powerful by us being role models for our patients?
Well, I don't invite people to come out and exercise with me if that's what you're asking. But I do make it an important part of my life. And
do you think that makes you a better clinician?
I think it makes me a healthier clinician. And I think the values of exercise are, first of all, when I'm exercising, I'm thinking. I find myself more creative at those times. I find myself more relaxed. I find that myself stronger. I find that I sleep better. My appetite is better. And it's actually, I don't eat more. I just am more satisfied with what I eat. I just find that if I don't exercise for 3 days, I'm getting a little bit grumpy. And
you actually don't exercise over the course of 3 days?
Can you imagine that?
That's terrible.
Well, it happens every once in a while. And I pay the price, so I don't let it happen very often.
Great stuff today, Doc. I really appreciate you coming on.
Bye-bye.
Really appreciate it.
Hey, sit up straight. Have you ever heard this from friends or family? If so, you may need to start doing some simple things to help improve your posture. Check out Robbie and see what I would call almost perfect posture. Shoulders and head back, spine not overly arched. Looks great, don't you think? Now when he slumps, look what happens. Not too appealing, is it? Now besides making you look a lot better, achieving and maintaining appropriate posture can help prevent potentially serious health problems too. For example, rounded shoulders can cause the shoulder blades, or your scapula, here, to angle downward and forward, creating a much more shallow roof above your upper arm bone, the humerus. So when you try to raise your arm up overhead, your upper arm bone has a lot less room to move underneath the acromion here, thus compressing the soft tissues between them. This is called impingement and can lead to shoulder pain. When you have good posture and stand upright with your shoulder blades back, notice how the humerus bone has a lot more room to move, in which impingement doesn't occur. Very nice. Now, poor posture can also impair breathing, causing the rib cage to point downward and forward, greatly limiting expansion of the lungs when you try to take a deep breath. Go ahead and see for yourself. Slouch and try taking a deep breath. Good luck getting much air in. That's because your ribs block the expansion of your lungs during inhalation, so your ability to take in oxygen is greatly impaired. Now, this is especially common in older adults, often caused by poor exercise and stretching habits, coupled with osteoporosis and degeneration of the spine. Now, besides shoulder and breathing problems, poor posture can also cause your neck to be sore and uncomfortable. Now, watch when his shoulders slouch forward. But look at the model here. When he slouches forward, the head jets forward, forcing the deep neck muscles here, those are called the suboccipital muscles, to work much harder because of a relatively longer moment arm. In other words, the head is displaced farther from the spine. There are many people who believe, and some research to support, that poor posture can even exacerbate headaches. To begin correcting poor posture, two things immediately come to mind. Stretching the tissues in the front of the upper torso, such as the pecs, and improving the strength and motor control of the muscles in the upper middle back, especially the rhomboids and trapezius muscles. Now, to stretch the pecs, I recommend lying on your back with your arms out to the side for around 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes. Yes, 15 minutes. Research shows that in order to lengthen tight tissues that have shortened over a long period of time, stretches should be held for at least 15 to 20 minutes at a time. Now, I realize this may seem strange and excessive, but there is a growing body of research supporting prolonged stretching to lengthen adaptively shortened tissues. Now, a great exercise you can do to help improve your posture is the incline dumbbell row, focusing on keeping your head still while pulling the elbows straight up, shoulder blades together, and maintaining 90 degrees at the elbow. This is extremely difficult to do correctly, so take your time in learning how to do it. You're going to aim for about 15 reps for 2 sets, but try to get an intensity level of about 6 to 7 out of 10. Now remember that perfect form is practically useless unless you use adequate resistance, so be ready to push it a little. Now let's say you don't have any exercise equipment available. Try this. I'm going to have Robbie demonstrate for you. You're going to lie face down on the floor with your chin barely off the floor and your arms straight out. Then, keeping your arms parallel to the floor, slowly move your arms up and down while pulling the shoulder blades together. You're going to do about 2 sets of 20 to 30 reps, but a couple things. Don't move your head at all, and don't overarch the low back. You want to try to keep the belly in and avoid overarching the back. And see how the shoulder blades pull together? Go up a little higher. Yeah, that's delicious. Good. Now, I'm confident that properly doing this stretch and exercises consistently, not once or twice, but consistently, can yield great improvements in your posture. Thanks. When people eat out, they usually like to have something flammable to drink along with their meal, which is okay, but you want to know your limits. The recommended limits, drinks per day that is, for men is 2 drinks per day. For women, it's 1. Now the calories tend to add up quickly. Did you know that 1 12-ounce beer is 144 calories, while only 5 ounces of wine or only 1.5 ounces of hard liquor is about 100 calories each? That adds up in a hurry. Now I know the more intoxicated you get, the worse your arithmetic gets. That's why you gotta plan in advance. So be smart. Yeah, I think I'll give that back now. Well, that's about it for this episode on how exercise can benefit people with depression. I'd like to sincerely thank Dr. Conant Norville for his sage advice, as well as your participation in seeing how exercise can drastically improve your life should you have this condition. Now remember, depressed or not, consistent exercise yields so many remarkable benefits on so many levels. It's depressing to think that the majority of people don't do it. I've given you practical, time-saving fitness tools you can use in your own life that pretty much should eliminate your traditional, I don't have time excuse. So what are you waiting for? Speaking of not waiting, I'm out of here to go stimulate some endorphins. We'll see you out there.
For more information and fitness resources, check out thefitnessshow.com. Funding for The Fitness Show is provided in part by Balance Gym, where we are committed to removing balance as a barrier to exercise.